Hey everybody, this is the Booster Demon. Unfortunately, our first box, our first pre-release pack of our Devastation that we opened up had an unfortunate camera issue where the cards were super glared and washed out looking. And so, as opposed to posting that video for you guys because it looks terrible, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the results of the pre-release box. Our pre-release foil is Juru, I believe that's, I don't know how you pronounce it, but Juru with eyes open. But I'm not going to pretend that I don't know how to pronounce it. And then we're going to look at our almond kit packs. And what I'm going to do is, instead of just doing a unboxing, I'm just going to do like a quick deck tech. So I already know from opening up this box that my white and red rares, so I got a lot of white and red rares. First one is Insult, which is a great rare, and I'm just going to filter out the white and red, and we're going to see what we're going to make here. And colorless, because we can always use colorless. This is our almond kit packs, and our almond kit packs looked pretty awesome. We also got this cool look full art forest over here. Well, we got a Glory Bringer. We got Insult to Injury, which are just game-winning limited cards. We have this Vigilance 4/3 Legend. You can search your library for a Planeswalker, which won't help us, but he's a 4/3 with Vigilance. 4/3. We may or may not play him. And then we're just going to... So that was our pulls from Amonkhet. And then for our Devastation, I'm just going to keep on pulling, looks like, I don't know, like a white land. Struggle to survive. Struggle deals damage to target creature equal to the number of lands you control. That seems good enough to just play as a card, even though we can't really use the other one. And we have an Earthshaker Kenra, which is also good. Camels. We have Open Fire. We got Fling. Magma Spray, Deem Worthy. We have a lot of good red removal here. We have a Defender. I guess we may or may not use him. We have a red-white dude, the Resolute Survivors. Looks like you can exert them as they attack. If you exert a creature, Resolute Survivors deals 1 damage to each opponent, and you gain 1 life. That seems pretty good. And we got a hollow one, which we can use as another colorless creature. That's our rare from that pack. In this pack we have Enduring Hope, Bird Cleric, more Camels, Ketra's Avenger, Crash Through, another Crash Through. I have some fixing in the form of Traveler's Amulet, another Resolute Survivors, and a Braid, which is pretty ridiculous, and an Overwhelming Splendor. I don't know if I'll use Overwhelming Splendor, but it is a pretty good card. If you long game it, you basically shrink all their dudes into 1/1 vanilla creatures, and they can't activate abilities. You know, it's a curse. It's a 8-mana curse, but it's a heck of a curse. This guy's a Falter effect. It keeps things from blocking. Insult is just like massive damage to the face, and of course Glory Bringer, and that's our rare so far. We have another Open Fire, so we have 2 of those guys. We have a Sandblast, which does 5 damage to something. We have a Manolith that lets us fix, but you know, we're in 2 colors, so we may or may not. We have a Prowess Lizard. We have an Aura that prevents damage, plus gives a buff. We have Solemnity, which is a pretty crazy card. I mean, it's more of a crazy modern card than anything, and we have a foil Driven to Despair. So pretty good if I was in those colors, but it looks like we have a ton of red and white. This is a cool card, but we're just gonna, you know, not use that because we don't need to. Solemnity, I'm not really sure if I want to use him. I might sideboard this in if my opponent has like -1/-1 counters, or other things that, you know, like anything that makes things bigger, we can use this to prevent. Of course, and I don't know if we're going to use Overwhelming Splendor. Seems like it's a great card, but it is 8 mana to get out. But we will use everything else, right? So we will use the Earthshaker, the Glorybringer, the Insult, and the Jiru. And we'll have a Desert of the True. That's a cycling land, which is kind of nice. Like, just drawing cards is good. We also have a hollow one. It's a 4/4 for 5. Costs 2 less to cast for each card you've cycled or discarded this turn. And he has cycling himself. So if you just cycle something, you could possibly get a 4 mana 4/4, I guess. And a card draw out of it. So it's never bad. So what I usually like to do is I usually separate my non-creatures from my creatures. Lands are separate. Creature, creature, non-creature, creature. Okay. Creature, non-creature. Okay, I'm going to talk while I'm doing it. And then we'll take stock of what we have. So that's usually how I build. And, okay. Alright, so how I would build a deck is I would start by mana curving. So I have a 2-drop here, 4-drop here, save space for a 3-drop. I have a 3-drop here, a 1-drop, and then now I'm going to stop talking, and I'm just going to keep on laying out cards here. Looks like we have a lot of 3-drops, some 4-drops, not a lot of high-end. Looks like our Glorybringer is like, our high-end is a 5. Okay, so let's start evaluating these cards. Whenever you cast blue, black, or red spell, you gain 1 life. It's a 0/4, so that might make it into the deck. It's a good sideboard card. I'm just going to put it on the sideboard for now because it's one of those cards where it can be good against certain decks. It's good against aggro. It's a 0/4 wall, kind of, but maybe not what we want to be. It looks like we want to be an aggressive deck. This is a 2-drop for 2, so it stays in for now. It's a defender that can tap to deal damage to a target player, but only if I have a desert card and if I control one or have one in my graveyard. So that guy's out. The Earthshaker is a rare, and he's got a falter effect, so I'm going to use him. The Archer, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, the Archer deals 1 point damage to each opponent. That's a really good card. The Avenger, you can exert the Avenger, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to it this turn. So it's a 3/1, so it's going to kill a lot of things in this format if you exert it. And the Gustwalker is just a limited all-star. We have 2 of these Resolute Survivors, so we're definitely going to play these guys because we have a bunch of exerters. Let's see. Oh, these guys are super good enablers, it looks like. Dauntless Haven will let you untap target attacking, or whenever it attacks, you can untap a target creature you control. So you can declare attacks with this guy, attack and exert these guys, and then untap these guys. So then next turn you can exert him over again. And he doesn't have exert himself, so as long as he's alive, you can keep on doing this with your dudes. Camel has lifelink as long as you control a desert, or there's a desert. I don't know if I got any desert. Well, I got 1 desert here. So maybe. He is a 3/2 for 3. That kills a lot of things in the format. This guy gets first strike, so he's in contention. This guy is great. Reach, fire breathing, 2/3 Minotaur for 3. Yes, please. Another Camel, and then Mummy. Enters the battlefield, exile target card from opponent's graveyard. Seems like it's a good card. We have a lot of those. This guy's great. He's an exerter. Gives everything a buff. Of course, the Big Daddy exerter is Glorybringer. We have a Gilded Ceridon. Wherever it attacks, if you control a desert or if there's a desert card in your graveyard, target creature can't block. That seems pretty good, so yeah, let's try this guy. He's a 3/3 flyer that gives you 3 life. Flyers are important. Hollow one, and this guy. Okay, so he's just like, basically for us, he's just a 4/3 dude with vigilance. So we might have too many creatures here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So typically I like to go 16 creatures. Watchers of the Dead is out. Even though I love cats, It's kind of out because, you know, hey, he doesn't really do much. All the exerters are in. They're cheap and they're early. These guys are in because they exert and then they do things to things that exert. This thing untaps exerters. The camel might be out because I don't have a lot of deserts. You know, it's okay, actually. This guy's prowess depends on what my spells are. This guy's in. This guy's a sideboard card, I think, along with the God Pharaoh's Faithful. I don't know. First striker is always good. Kind of half-time, a part-time first striker. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Exerter 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So, looks like maybe this guy isn't that great. Let's see, he's vigilant for 3, but for 5. If a source would deal damage to a planeswalker you control, prevent one. We don't have a planeswalker. It's kind of a nombo. I can search for a planeswalker, don't have one, so maybe we just don't use them. And maybe we just go fast with camels. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I got my guys there. We do have one desert. And honestly, I didn't look to see if I had any deserts. So it looks like we do have some deserts. But they're kind of like colored deserts. We have another desert. So we might use some of these deserts for our deck, actually. Well, 2 of them anyways. Okay, so then those are our creatures. We have 16 creatures. That's resolved. We got things we can put in our sideboard. We got 2 deserts. And let's take a look. I like to look at my removal. So Assault Blast deals 5 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Fling is an all-star. Magma Spray is an all-star. Deemworthy is incredible. Looks like Struggle is also a good one. Open Fire. Let's see, this is a trample effect that draws you a card. Abrade, either do 3 damage to target creature or destroy target artifact. Either one is good because there's a lot of nasty artifacts, like an Amonkhet, like the monuments, that you might want to get rid of. 2 Open Fires. We have Insult to Injury, and we have some fixing. Well, we're a 2-color deck. I'm not going to really worry about fixing too much. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Typically, if I'm playing 16 creatures, I'm going to play 8 spells. Gives me 24. This is a faster deck. I can, do 16 land. So these can all be put into the sideboard, and so now I just have to decide what I want to cut. I need to cut something, right? So this seems like it's pretty good. It can kill big creatures late game. Obviously I won't be using Survive, but doesn't really matter. But I don't know. This seems like it might be the weakest card because some of these just do straight up things. Like this one just does 3 damage to target player or creature to their face. It's an instant. It is for 3, but in this format, that's pretty. Being an instant speed spell and being able to go 3 anywhere is a pretty big deal. So, where this only goes to a target creature, and it also is land dependent. Magma Spray is just good. It's also an instant. It does 2 damage and can exile things if they would die. And sometimes you just want to exile a exert or an embalmer or something that has eternal. So these I think we keep the Fling because that's a great card. We keep the Insult because that's a great card. Braid we keep. It's modal, so we can do whatever we want. It's also an instant, which is also great. Deemworthy is a crazy card. It's probably as good or better than Struggle. If I cast Struggle with 5 lands out, it only does 5, and Deemworthy does 7. It also cycles, and it does damage when it cycles. So I think Struggle is probably going to be out. And I like Sandblast. It's 5 damage. Well, it's kind of, I guess, like, depending on what kind of deck I'm going up against, it would be a toss-up between these 2. But I think for my main deck, I'm going to go with these 8 cards. So I have a bunch of removal. Well, the Insult is not removal, but damage can't be prevented. If a source you control would deal damage this turn, it deals double that damage. And then if you aftermath it at the same time, it deals 2 damage to target creature and 2 damage to target player. you're basically doing 4 damage to a player and 4 damage to a creature, and all of your sources. So insult is just like crazy. We need to play that card. So yeah, there's the deck. A bunch of exerting creatures and red white. A couple of high end creatures that do things, except for maybe this guy. This guy's kind of iffy actually. Considering I don't have a lot of cycling, and the stuff I do have that's cycling, I do not maybe want to use. But so in that he's a big creature, big-ish. He's medium-sized creature actually. He's a 4/4, but he's a good slot for me to do things like, okay, well maybe I want to put in one of these 2 cards from my sideboard. Well, he's a good choice to pull out. So it's always good to have a couple of cards like that where you're kind of like, it's good, it's okay, but I can pull it out for a sideboard card. That's more important, and that's also part of deck building. So that would have been my deck for the pre-release from this box. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope some of the information I've given you is helpful for you in the future. I am not like a very conventional player, so take it or leave it. I mean, I would probably play 40 cards here, but usually I play 41 cards in my limited decks, and people, they don't like that. So anyways, thanks for joining me, and if you like this sort of deck tech stuff or instructional videos, please leave a comment and tell me that you want to see more of that, and we will do that in addition to opening up packs and just seeing what we get. All right. See you next time.